Hi guys!
Hi guys!
Sabi ko na eh, bakit kasi only yan? Mahirap yung hi guys din.
Hi guys! We are Team RiriJen and welcome back to our vlog. Today, we will be talking about mathematics.
What are its features?
What are its purposes?
How to use it. Everything you need to know about mathematics.
So without further ado, let's get on to the video.
So here are the features of Microsoft Mathematics. Microsoft Mathematics offers a variety of options to solve various problems from different topics. These topics include calculus, statistics, trigonometry, linear algebra, and several others. As our group was exploring the application, it gave us the impression that it is a very advanced scientific calculator, which has more features compared to your typical Casio FX 570 ES Plus. There are three ways to input the problem. First, by typing the problem via keyboard. Second, by using the mouse to write the problem. And lastly, there is a calculator on the left side of the screen where you can choose the topic of the problem to be solved, and arrow keys for navigation, and a number pad to input the values and operations, such as the integral sign, the addition operation, and the summation sign. You can also switch from real numbers to complex numbers, degrees to gradients, and to gradients. Specify what specific amount of decimal places there should be. Equation solver, triangle solver, unit converter, and insert specific formulas and equations.
Okay, thank you. Now to further understand said features, for example, I want to solve a problem involving integral calculus. Now, on the said calculator on the left, I shall go to the calculus option and insert the integral sign as so, and insert desired equation. Let's say, for example, I want Microsoft Mathematics to solve the integral of x plus 1. Now I press enter, and for a few moments, there you go, Microsoft Mathematics has solved the integral of x plus 1. But not only, Microsoft Mathematics cannot only solve indefinite integral calculus. It also gives the option of solving definite integral calculus, which is located next to the indefinite. As so, say I want to get the integral again of x plus 1, but this time my lower limit is 3, my upper limit is say 7. Then press enter, and Microsoft Mathematics has solved the integral of x plus 1, lower limit 3, and upper limit 7. Also, offered by Microsoft Mathematics is a history of the several equations you have asked it to solve, like so. Here is my history, and I can browse it to review what equations I have solved. Microsoft Mathematics can also solve graphing problems along with various inputs to get the precise answer one is looking for. I will show you. This is the option wherein Microsoft Mathematics can solve graphic problems. You can choose if the graph is in 2D or 3D, or if it is in Cartesian or polar. An interesting feature is that you can compare the behavior of two graphs. Just set the right conditions, insert the correct equations, then the software shall show you how the graph moves at certain points. For example, let's say the graph of, I don't know, x plus 3 maybe, and x for for fun, let's say x and x plus 3. So we, we press the option graph, and there you go. We, this is, I think this is the graph in 2D but polar. So shall we try it again in Cartesian? Let's say. So this is the graph of x plus 3 and x in Cartesian. Now, as you can see in this part, it shows that at this specific point, x plus 3, the graph of x plus 3 and the graph of x intersects. That is all, and those are the features we found while exploring Microsoft Mathematics. Thank you for listening.
Generally, the purpose of Microsoft Mathematics is to help the users solve different mathematical problems and showing the users how to use it step by step. Also, the purpose of the application depends on the user. Some users use it in purpose of learning, and some use it in purpose of cheating.
The purpose of Microsoft Mathematics software is to give users an easier approach in dealing with many mathematical problems by means of more functions using the software's calculator when they need to calculate something, such as the calculations in the field of calculus or statistics, and also others. And also, to make solving equations easier. Additionally, if a user needs to create a graph or graphs, it is quite easy using this software.
Hi guys, welcome back to our vlog. Today we'll be showing you how to use Microsoft Mathematics. So first off, you need to learn that there are two ways on how we can input problems in Microsoft Mathematics. If you're gonna look at the top, you can see here input, and then there's keyboard and ink. Now what this two does is how we are going to put our problems in Microsoft Mathematics. So here we are on keyboard, and what that means is we're going to use the keyboard in typing our problem. So for example, 1 plus 1, and then press enter, and then we'll have the answer. It's going to be solved. Try using ink. Now what this does is we are going to write the equation that we're going to solve. So for example, 2 then press enter. Okay, the ink would work better if you have a drawing tablet or a writing tablet. Then you could use the ink, but if you don't have, then you can use the keyboard for inputting your problems. There are also tools here that you can use when solving different equations. Here we have unit converter, where it converts the unit to whatever you are searching for, and then triangle solver. This one, you can put values on the different sides and angles based on what the problem based on what is given in the problem and what is being asked. Next we have formulas and equations. Here we have different formulas in different topics. For example, here in algebra we have the quadratic formula, the slope intercept formula, the midpoint formula, etc., etc. If you want to know what problem or what's the formula for a certain problem, you can check out formulas and equations on the top, and then equation solver, if the problem has several equations, you can use the equation solver to solve multiple equations, and yeah, get your answer. Next, we have degrees, radians, and gradients. Now, what this means is like in our scientific calculator, where we can solve using degrees or in radians. It's the same here in Microsoft Mathematics. We can solve either with degrees or radians and gradients for real numbers. Now, if we click on complex number, it says here the number of field is set to complex. Angles will be measured in radians. What that means that whatever we input, whatever the problem will be solved in radians. Now, if we go back to real numbers, all three options, the degrees, radians, and gradients, will be available once again. So for simplicity, or for in general, for default, we keep it at degrees and at real numbers. The decimal places is not fixed, meaning we can change it to how many decimal places you want to solve, but if the default is not fixed. And the graphing is the same as in the worksheet, but for graph, here we can input the different values for each graph that we want. We have the two planes, Cartesian plane and the polar plane, and if we want the graph to be 2D or 3D. And now we will have Franco to explain what is this on the left side of the program.
Thank you for your explanation, Wilfred. Now I will explain the functions of the mobile looking phone tab on the left side of your window. This tab contains different operations and formulas for various types of mathematical problems. For example, clicking on the calculus tab right here shows formulas for derivatives. Clicking on one of these, just like this, clicking on this, you will see that it appears on the typing area right here, and it will promptly ask you the values you wish to add, something like this. Then just press enter to get the results, something like that. And this can be done with the most things here that you can see on the left side of your window. Another example is when I click on the statistics tab. It will show you different ways of achieving statistical values, such as this first one that shows insert data set. You can add values here on the first one and the second one and the third one, and just press OK, and it will appear on the typing area, just like you did with the first one. It will look like this. You can input a number on each block and click OK. The numbers you inputted will appear on the typing area, just like I said earlier. And these are just some of the things that you can do on this app.
And that is it for how to use Microsoft Mathematics. Hope you learned something new today, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.
The Microsoft Mathematics software is a useful tool in many occasions. Even if a user only needs to calculate things using the calculator, this software has more functions in its calculator than other calculator softwares that I know. Furthermore, it has a graphing tool where the user can create graphs simply by creating the graph's coordinate or setting the graph's coordinate. All this and other more functions make this a brilliant software for students and professionals alike who calculates a lot or needs to create graph countless times.
So Microsoft Mathematics is a software that can solve any math problem as long as it's in span of topics, pre-algebra, algebra, and trigonometry, and also calculus. It's a very helpful application, especially for math major and engineering students. It serves as guide on solving math problems, for it gives complete and defined solution in given problem. For me, the application is, as a whole, is a great app for students who's having hard time solving math problems like myself. My advice for students who want to use this app is to install and use it on your phones instead of laptop or computers, because the app installed on phone is less complicated and more convenient to use other than or that of it on laptop or PCs.
All in all, this app is a very amazing app. It is very useful in calculating and speeding up processes which might take a person a few minutes or hours in calculating different problems. And by doing so, it can drastically reduce the time spent on calculating such problems. And what's another important part of this application is that after the application provided you the answer, you can click on the solution portion here, and it will show you step by step on just how did it arrive to that answer, and which is very helpful in if you want to know how it got there and how and and all the processes involved. And yeah, it's a very useful app, and most people can probably use it. Just they really have to learn how to use a PC, and it's a very user friendly and beginner friendly app. uh, the- my conclusion is that this application is very useful, amazing, and I recommend people to try it.
It is a very useful app for students like me and also for the teachers because it shows the process of computation, which is essential and very important for better learning and understanding. And even without the use of internet, we can access and solve various and different mathematical problems and equations. I highly recommend this app for to students and teachers because this will be our guide for solving difficult mathematical equations and problems.
For my personal feedback on Microsoft Mathematics, I really think it is a great application for me, which is an engineering student, and for every engineering student out there that is trying to solve difficult problems, as well as people who are trying to solve very difficult mathematical problems as well.
For me, Microsoft Mathematics is a great program or a great app to use for students that need help in solving mathematical problems such as algebra, statistics, or trigonometry. If you don't have a calculator, or if you need more help in solving problems from your school, then this is a great app to use while solving those problems. You can just type in the problem, or you can choose from the left side of the software what do you want to solve, and input the problem and just press enter and you have the answer. I guess the only thing I don't like about the app is that not every lesson is there or is not available in the program. There are some problems that it can't solve as well. I tried solving some more difficult, some more complex problems, and it wasn't there. It can't be solved by the program, and that's a bit of a downer on as the student. But on the bright side, aside from that, I think it's still a very useful tool in especially for those taking up engineering or other courses with mathematics and higher levels of mathematics. Just keep in mind that it is not a perfect tool. There are flaws to it, and it is always better to learn the stuff on your own, the problems to be solved on your own. But still, it is a great tool that will help you learn, and I still would recommend this to students and teachers alike.